certainly the bigger picture is worrying. Even more worrying is the long-term youth unemployment. It's all good to have 55% unemployment, but when you have almost 700 youth under 30-year-olds that have been unemployed for more than 2 years, these are skill sets that are lost. It will take a lot of time, if it'll happen at all, for these people to go back and become employable again. A lot of the people that could be employed have actually left the country. That obviously constitutes a short-term problem for the country.
Yes.
And for the long term, the social fabric, we are witnessing some of the protests certainly suffering. It is not an easy solution, and it is a very, very, very worrisome trend. The fact that not only do you have a lot of young people that are actually being unproductive, but also the fact that they're losing the skills they had accumulated up until 2 years ago.
Absolutely, and we think in this kind of situation of benefits being a help, but understand you think they could be a hindrance here as well?
Well, the benefits there's a different line between benefits providing the good and necessary safety net. You have almost 2 million households with nobody in the household contributing with the job income. The problem with Spain in particular, and perhaps this is not the best time, it could have been done a few years ago when things were a lot better. The problem is that when you have unemployment benefits that perhaps are not providing the best incentives, a lot of people are saying, well, if I find a job, even if it's a very precarious job, a part-time job, I'm going to be losing these benefits. So maybe I should wait for something better. The problem is if you wait for 2 years, then all of a sudden you have a CV in front of you and you cannot really justify a lot of the skills that you had 24 months ago.
Absolutely, it's one of those perennial problems, isn't it? And France, I mean, you know, we think of France as being a relatively safe haven, but the way unemployment's going, is this a signal that the whole Eurozone is heading here for crunch time?
You touch about a very important point. France was the poster boy, core Europe. You put them with Germany, put them with the Netherlands. Not so. France has issues with respect to the excessive debt. It has a very high dependency on the public sector to provide with, jobs and safety net. And when you talk about youth unemployment, they also have a big issue. 80%, 4 out of 5 new jobs are being created for young people are precarious jobs, part-time jobs, jobs where you don't really have a full income being contributed. Almost 2/3 of people that have been finding jobs in the last 3 years are actually in these short-term temporary contracts. France needs to actually walk the same path as Spain, and inevitably you can do all sort of trying to match your balances. You need long-term labor reforms. We'll see what Mr. Rajoy will present to us tomorrow, and of course Hollande is trying to push. Too little, too late.
And of course, if you've got this kind of labour market picture across the Eurozone now, that can't bode well when it comes to growth and the longer-term picture.
The issue is that all the policies have been mainly about austerity, and austerity is great. The issue with that is that unless you make sure that you create the possibility of growth tomorrow, that austerity will be meaningless, because ultimately your GDP will not sustain that. Reforms, all good, absolutely necessary, but just focusing on austerity without the sources of growth, it's just not a very good recipe.
So this could backfire badly, is what you're saying?
I believe it could, and certainly there's worry more and more austerity fatigue. 2013 and 14 can be the year with some of these riots that we used to see at the very periphery of Europe in Athens or in Lisbon actually go towards the heart of the continent, because quite frankly, when you see people rioting in Rome or in Madrid, then it really becomes a serious issue for what's so-called the core European countries.